The stars were calm that night, sparkling like distant fires, but on the planet Zelthar the silence was broken by a cry that cut through the air like a blade. It was not a sound of anger or war. It was the cry of a mother. The alien queen, Sarathis, stood tall on her obsidian balcony, her massive wings folded behind her, trembling slightly as her eyes searched the horizon. One of her children, her youngest hatchling, had disappeared weeks ago during a sudden attack by space raiders, and now every passing moment without news felt like an eternity. Her people had scoured the surrounding systems, sent fleets, and deployed scouts, but the raiders had vanished without leaving a trace. Zelthar's surface glimmered with anxious lights as ships darted back and forth, yet no hope had arrived. Sarathis had felt desperation before, but this was deeper, sharper, and heavier than anything she had ever known. She could feel the little life she had nurtured from birth, her own child, lost somewhere in the dark void of the galaxy. Far away, in a human starship called the Odyssey, Captain Lena Voss adjusted her console, watching a blinking distress signal appear on her screen. Humans had traveled far beyond their own system, exploring strange worlds and facing dangers that even the bravest among them could not imagine. Lena had seen the impossible before, and every time humanity had endured. But this signal was different. It was not a call for help in battle or a distress of malfunctioning ships. It was the voice of a mother in agony. Lena felt a strange pull in her chest, a connection across light years that transcended species that whispered, "This is important. You must help." She called her crew together. "This is no ordinary mission," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Somewhere out there, a life is in danger. Not a planet, not a warship, but a child. And the mother is waiting. I don't know what we'll find, but we're going to try. That's what humans do. We don't wait for miracles. We make them." Her crew exchanged glances, feeling the weight of her words. Humans had faced storms that shredded ships, navigated wormholes that bent reality, and now they were being asked to enter a strange, hostile system to save an alien child. And yet no one hesitated. This was humanity. Courage was not just in weapons or technology, it was in their hearts. Meanwhile, Sarathis continued to scan the stars, her massive eyes reflecting both fear and hope. She had fought wars, commanded fleets, and ruled her people with wisdom and strength, but nothing in her long life had prepared her for this feeling. The helplessness of a mother separated from her child. Her wings shivered, her antennae twitched, and for the first time she allowed herself to feel fear, not for her life, but for the tiny, fragile life she had brought into the universe. The Odyssey made its jump through hyperspace, a bright streak, cutting across the endless darkness, and Lena watched the readings closely. Every sensor, every calculation was aimed at one goal: find the hatchling. She thought of her own childhood, of moments when she had been scared and alone, and she knew she could not ignore a cry for help, no matter how far, no matter how alien. As the human ship approached the Zelthar system, the alien queen noticed it from afar. At first she feared another threat, another enemy fleet. But as the ship landed and figures emerged, moving with deliberate care, she saw something unexpected: a willingness to help, to cross the void for a life that was not their own. Her wings twitched again, not with fear this time, but with a flicker of hope. Perhaps help had arrived. In that moment, the galaxy seemed to pause. Stars burned silently overhead, fleets hovered tens of thousands of kilometers apart, and two species, human and Zeltharite, stood on the edge of a moment that could change everything. One cry had bridged unimaginable distance. One act of courage had begun before it had even been made. And the alien queen's heart beat faster, for she knew that the child she had lost might yet be found, carried home not by Zelthar's fleets, but by humanity itself. The Odyssey glided silently into the Zelthar system, a small human ship entering a galaxy that did not fully understand them. The alien fleets surrounded them, massive vessels with wings like blades of steel, bristling with weapons. Yet Captain Lena Voss did not falter. She knew this mission was not about confrontation. It was about hope. Every human aboard the ship understood the weight of what they were doing. Across the stars, a mother waited, her heart breaking, and somewhere in the darkness, a child's life depended on them. "Sensors detect faint life signs on a nearby asteroid field," said Ensign Malik, the ship's young navigation officer. His voice trembled slightly. "It's faint, but there's something there. Could be the hatchling." Lena nodded. "Prepare a shuttle. Quiet approach. We don't know what we'll face, but we'll go in carefully. Remember, it's not just about fighting, it's about saving a life." The crew moved with practiced precision, yet there was a tension in the air that no training could erase. Humans had faced cosmic storms, deadly radiation, and alien species that were hostile beyond imagination, but this was different. This was personal. They were stepping into the unknown for something that mattered more than survival. A life worth saving, a child worth protecting. Meanwhile, in her palace, the alien Queen Sarathis watched the human ship land. She had expected threats, but not this. A single, small human craft daring to approach her system, risking everything without a clear reward. Her massive claws trembled as she realized that humanity had answered her silent plea. She had never seen humans in action before, not truly, but she felt their courage radiate across the distance. Even now, she could sense that their mission was about more than strategy or gain. Lena led the small shuttle into the asteroid belt, weaving between jagged rocks and debris that had once belonged to destroyed raider ships. Every turn was a challenge. One wrong move and they could be crushed or stranded. Yet the human crew pressed on, determined. They had come too far to turn back. Hours passed as the shuttle searched, scanners sweeping the desolate terrain. Finally, a faint signal appeared, life readings weak but unmistakable. Lena's heart leapt. "That's it," she whispered. "We found it." They landed on a small, ruined moon, the surface scorched and broken from previous battles. The hatchling's cry, barely audible, guided them. Lena's mind raced, thinking of her own family back on Earth, of the moment she had feared losing them. She understood the alien queen's pain more than she could have imagined. Humanity had a bond that transcended species, and it was that bond that gave her the courage to keep moving forward. But danger was never far. The raiders who had taken the hatchling were still nearby, hiding among the craters and twisted metal. Lena glanced at her team. "Stay alert. We don't know what they'll do, but we will get that child out." The human crew prepared traps and strategies, using their intelligence and unpredictability to their advantage. Where brute force might fail, cleverness prevailed. Lena remembered every story she had heard about humans who had faced impossible odds and won, not through strength alone, but through courage, ingenuity, and heart. And now, they were living that story themselves. As they approached the faint cries, Lena felt a chill run down her spine. There, beneath a broken hull of a raider craft, was the hatchling, tiny, trembling but alive. Its eyes glimmered with fear and hope. Lena knelt, speaking softly. "You're safe now. I'm here. We'll bring you home." The hatchling stretched, a tiny claw toward her, and in that small gesture a bond was formed, across species, across galaxies. Lena knew that this moment would be remembered forever, a story of humanity's courage shining through the darkness of space. Somewhere far away, Sarathis waited, unaware that hope was returning, unaware that her child's life was about to be restored. Humanity had begun the impossible mission, and the galaxy was watching. The small shuttle of the Odyssey hovered above the ruined moon, its engines whispering against the cold black sky. Lena Voss felt her heart hammer in her chest as she scanned the cratered surface. Every shadow could hide danger, every jagged rock could conceal the raiders, but fear was a luxury she could not afford. Across the stars, a child waited, and a mother's heart hung in the balance. "Scans confirm the hatchling is alive but weak," reported Ensign Malik, his voice tense. "Life signs are faint. We need to act fast." Lena nodded. "We move carefully, no mistakes." Her hands gripped the controls, steady despite the storm of emotion inside her. She thought of her own childhood, of nights when she had feared for her life, and how the kindness of others had saved her. This mission was more than duty. It was compassion stretched across the galaxy. The team moved silently across the barren surface, stepping carefully over sharp debris from destroyed raider ships. Each footfall echoed in the cold silence, a reminder of how fragile life was here. Lena could feel the pulse of the planet, the faint tremor of hope that guided her forward. Somewhere in the darkness, the hatchling's cries grew stronger, weak but persistent, calling out to anyone who would answer. Then the raiders appeared. They had hidden among the craters, their twisted ships like predators lying in wait. Lena's crew froze for a moment, but she quickly gestured for them to move. Bravery was not the absence of fear. It was moving forward despite it. Humanity had always thrived on the impossible, on taking risks no one else dared to take. Using the shuttle's scanners and their own ingenuity, the crew set traps and distractions, carefully luring the raiders away. From the hatchling, every decision was critical. One misstep could mean death, or worse, the child could be lost forever. Lena's mind raced as she directed her team. Each move was calculated, yet every action was filled with hope. This was not a battle for conquest. It was a battle for life. Finally, they reached the broken hull of a raider craft half buried in the dusty soil. Lena could hear the faint, frightened cries coming from inside. She knelt, careful not to make sudden movements, and whispered softly, "It's okay, little one. You're safe now." The hatchling stirred, weak and trembling. Its tiny wings quivered and its luminous eyes blinked up at Lena. In that instant, all the dangers of the moon, the raiders, and the endless void of space faded away. There was only the fragile life before her, and the promise to bring it home. "Cover me," Lena ordered. She gently lifted the hatchling from its hiding place, careful not to startle it. The creature clung to her hand instinctively, as if it knew she was its savior. Behind her, the human crew fought off the few raiders who had noticed their presence, using clever traps and quick tactics to disable them without unnecessary harm. Humanity had always thrived in moments of danger, not just through strength but through creativity, courage, and the willingness to risk everything for the right cause. As they made their way back to the shuttle, Lena glanced at the tiny creature in her arms. Its breathing was shallow, but it was alive. A surge of relief washed over her. Across light years, she imagined the alien queen, Sarathis, waiting anxiously, unaware that hope had returned. Soon the mother and child would be reunited, and this moment of bravery would ripple through the stars, showing that courage and compassion could cross even the vastest distances. Finally, the shuttle lifted off the moon, carrying the hatchling toward the Odyssey. Lena allowed herself a brief smile, thinking of the stories of humanity that had reached across the galaxy. They were about to add one more, an impossible rescue, a child saved, a mother reunited. In the darkness of space, one small act of courage could shine brighter than 1,000 stars. And somewhere far away, Sarathis's heart would beat with hope again, unaware that the brave humans were already bringing her lost child home. The shuttle of the Odyssey rose from the scorched moon, carrying the hatchling carefully wrapped in soft blankets that humans had brought along. Lena Voss felt the weight of responsibility heavy in her arms, yet it was nothing compared to the hope that surged through her heart. Every sensor, every calculation had led to this moment, the chance to return a lost life to its mother. Back on the shuttle's console, Ensign Malik monitored the hatchling's vitals. "Heart rate stabilizing," he reported, relief breaking through his usual tension. "It's going to be okay." Lena exhaled slowly. "Good, that's what matters. Keep it steady and we'll be home soon." Outside the shuttle, the Forsaken Belt stretched endlessly, a dangerous maze of debris and asteroids that had swallowed many ships before. But Lena's crew navigated it with precision, using their human ingenuity to chart a path no one else could anticipate. Every twist and turn, every narrow passage brought them closer to the Zelthar system, and to the mother who waited desperately for her child. The hatchling stirred, small wings fluttering weakly. Lena whispered softly, "You're safe now. We're bringing you home. Your mother will see you soon." The tiny alien blinked, sensing her kindness, and made a soft chirping sound that tugged at the hearts of everyone aboard. Even hardened crew members felt their eyes glisten, touched by a connection that went beyond words or species. As they neared Zelthar, a shadow loomed across their path. Raider ships, alerted to the human presence, attempted to intercept them. Lena's team braced for a fight. But humans did not always face danger with brute force alone. Using clever maneuvers, the shuttle darted between asteroids, exploiting the raiders' unfamiliarity with the terrain. Traps, decoys, and quick thinking allowed them to slip past, proving once again that human courage was not measured by size or firepower, but by heart and cleverness. Finally, the shuttle pierced Zelthar's atmosphere. The alien fleet, once bristling with suspicion, fell silent as the human craft approached. The massive ships hovered, their shadows looming like giants. Yet there was no aggression this time, only curiosity, awe, and hope. The crew of the Odyssey had done the impossible. They had navigated hostile space, faced danger, and brought life back from the brink. At the landing platform, the alien Queen Sarathis waited. Her enormous form towered over the arrival zone, wings slightly folded, antennae twitching with anticipation. Her eyes were wide, brimming with fear and hope, scanning the shuttle for her child. She had expected threats, perhaps even failure, but not this. The humans, small and fragile by comparison, carried her lost hatchling back to her. Her heart raced, each beat echoing through her massive chest. Lena stepped forward, holding the hatchling carefully. "Your child is safe," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "We brought it back to you." For a moment, time seemed to stop. The alien queen's eyes filled with tears, and her massive claws shook slightly as she reached out. The hatchling chirped softly, recognizing its mother immediately, and Sarathis pulled it close. Wings wrapped protectively around the tiny creature, and she buried her face against it, her tears glistening in the alien sunlight. You did this," Sarathis said, her voice breaking with emotion. "You risked everything for a life that was not your own. I cannot thank you enough." Lena smiled, feeling a warmth she had never known before. "Sometimes it's not about who we are or what we have. It's about doing the right thing. That's what matters." The alien queen's tears fell freely now, glistening like jewels against her scales. The hatchling chirped happily in her arms, wings fluttering. Around them, the massive alien fleet watched silently, witnessing something that words could never describe. Humans, small and fragile, capable of courage, compassion, and hope that could cross galaxies. In that moment, the impossible mission had succeeded. Life had been saved, bonds had been formed, and the galaxy seemed a little brighter, a little warmer. Humanity had shown that even across the stars, love and bravery could overcome fear and despair. Lena watched as mother and child reunited, a smile on her face and pride in her heart. This was why humans explored the stars, not for conquest, not for glory, but to protect life, to help those who could not help themselves, and to prove that even the smallest beings could change the fate of the universe. The landing platform on Zelthar was quiet, but the silence was heavy with anticipation. The massive alien ships hovered above like protective guardians, yet every eye, winged, scaled, or otherwise, was fixed on the small human shuttle that had returned from the void of space. Captain Lena Voss stepped forward, holding the hatchling gently in her arms. The tiny creature chirped softly, as if sensing the final step of its journey home. Then she saw her, the alien queen, Sarathis, towering above the platform, wings partially folded, antennae trembling, and eyes brimming with tears. Her scales shimmered faintly under the alien sun, and every movement carried the weight of fear, hope, and relief. The moment had come, the reunion of mother and child after weeks of separation, weeks of anguish, and weeks of uncertainty. Lena approached slowly, careful not to startle either of them. "Your child is safe," she said, voice soft but strong. "We've brought it back to you." For a moment, nothing happened. Time seemed to hold its breath. Then Sarathis' eyes widened further, tears spilling down her cheeks in shimmering streams. She extended her massive claws and pulled her hatchling close. Wings wrapped around the tiny creature, enveloping it in warmth and protection. The hatchling chirped joyfully, wriggling to reach its mother's face. Sarathis buried her head gently against it, letting her tears fall freely. You risked yourself for this," the queen said, her voice trembling with emotion. "For my child. For me. For life itself. I cannot find words," Lena smiled softly. "You don't need words. You only need to know that someone cared enough to act. That's enough." The alien queen's tears continued, glistening like jewels against her scales. Her entire form seemed to tremble, as if the weight of worry and fear was finally lifting. Around the platform, Zeltharite soldiers and citizens watched silently. They had never seen such a display of trust and courage. A human, small and fragile compared to their massive alien forms, had crossed the void, faced dangers unimaginable, and returned with their most precious treasure. Sarathis looked at Lena with eyes full of gratitude, awe, and something deeper. Respect. Humans, I did not understand your kind fully, she said. But now I see. Courage is not measured in size or strength. It is measured in the heart and in the willingness to face the impossible for what is right. Lena's crew, standing behind her, felt the weight of the moment as well. They had not come for recognition, medals, or glory. They had come because they knew that a life mattered, and that some acts of courage were worth every risk. Humanity had shown its true face, not as conquerors, not as invaders, but as protectors, saviors, and friends. The hatchling chirped again, and Sarathis' massive wings gently brushed Lena's shoulders in a subtle, almost imperceptible gesture of gratitude. For the first time in her long life, the Queen felt a true connection with a human being. It was more than relief. It was trust, respect, and the knowledge that across galaxies, hearts could align in ways no one had ever imagined. The platform seemed brighter somehow, as if the hope carried by the humans had illuminated not just the landing zone, but the hearts of everyone watching. Sarathis whispered to her child, recounting the days of worry, the nights of fear, and now the joy of reunion. The hatchling chirped in response, flapping tiny wings, as if telling its mother that it had survived, and that the universe still held wonders and courage yet unseen. Lena stepped back slightly, allowing mother and child their private reunion, feeling a quiet pride swell inside her. Humanity had done what many thought impossible. They had crossed light years to save life, to show compassion, and to remind the galaxy that courage and kindness could travel farther than any weapon or fleet. And as Sarathis finally held her hatchling close, rocking it gently, tears still streaking her scales, she looked at Lena one last time and said simply, yet profoundly, "You have shown the galaxy what it means to be truly human." After the reunion, the atmosphere on the landing platform shifted. The tension that had filled the Zelthar fleet melted into a quiet awe. Sarathis held her hatchling close, wings folding protectively, and for the first time in weeks, she allowed herself to breathe freely. The humans had done what no Zeltharite fleet could. They had crossed impossible distances, faced unknown dangers, and brought back her lost child. Lena Voss stepped back slightly, giving mother and child their space, but her presence was steady and calm. She felt the weight of the moment, understanding that this was more than a simple rescue. It was a bridge between two species, proof that life itself could be protected by courage, empathy, and determination. Sarathis finally lifted her gaze, her massive eyes glistening. "I do not know how to repay you," she said through the translator. "Your actions, they go beyond what I thought possible. Humans, your kind is extraordinary." Lena shook her head gently. "We didn't do it for reward. We did it because it was the right thing to do. Sometimes that's enough. One life matters, one child matters, and one act of courage can make a difference across the stars." The Queen's wings trembled slightly, and she reached out a clawed hand, touching Lena's shoulder in a gesture that carried more meaning than words could express. The humans and Zeltharites had never shared such a connection before. Trust had been built in the void of space. Respect had been earned through action, and hope had been restored in the heart of a mother. Around the platform, Zeltharite soldiers and citizens watched silently. They had followed orders, but what they witnessed today went beyond strategy or duty. They had seen humans act not for conquest, not for gain, but for life itself. A species once considered small and fragile had proven that courage, compassion, and honor were limitless, that the heart of humanity could reach across galaxies and touch lives in ways no technology or weapon could. Sarathis bent down, speaking softly to her hatchling, recounting how brave humans had been, how they had faced dangers far beyond imagination to return her lost child. The hatchling chirped happily, wings fluttering as if understanding the story of its own survival. The mother's eyes glimmered with gratitude and a newfound respect for life, and for those who chose to protect it. Lena felt a quiet pride swell inside her. She thought of all the missions humans had undertaken, the explorers, scientists, and soldiers who had faced impossible odds, and she realized that this was the essence of humanity. Courage paired with compassion, intelligence paired with empathy. Across the stars, humans could shine in ways that weapons and fleets never could. The alien queen finally spoke again, her voice steady and filled with awe. "We have judged humans wrongly in the past. We thought you were fragile, unpredictable, and weak. But today you have shown us strength beyond measure. You have shown us the meaning of honor, courage, and sacrifice. We will not forget this, Lena smiled. We don't expect you to. Just remember that life is worth protecting, no matter how small, no matter how different. And sometimes the smallest acts can change the course of entire civilizations. The platform was silent for a long moment, only the quiet coos of the hatchling and the distant hum of alien ships filling the air. Yet in that silence a bond had formed, one that spanned light years and species. Humanity had earned a place of respect, not through force but through compassion. The galaxy had witnessed the power of empathy, and it would not be forgotten. As Lena prepared to return to the Odyssey, Sarathis extended a claw once more, not in command, but in friendship. The gesture was simple yet profound. Across stars and systems, humans and Zeltharites had begun to understand one another. Trust had been built, respect had been earned, and hope had returned stronger than ever. In the quiet aftermath of the rescue, Lena realized something profound. The universe was vast, full of danger and mystery, but humanity's courage and heart could bridge any distance. One act of bravery could ripple across light years, shaping destinies and forging bonds that no weapon could ever break. Humanity had not only saved a life, they had shown the galaxy who they truly were. The stars shone brighter that night over Zelthar, as if the galaxy itself had witnessed the reunion and wanted to celebrate. Captain Lena Voss and her crew prepared to leave the alien world, their mission complete, their hearts full. They had not only saved a life, they had shown that humanity could rise above fear, above distance, and above the dangers of the unknown. Across light years, their courage had forged a bond that would echo for generations. Sarathis, the alien queen, held her hatchling close, her wings folded protectively around it. The small creature chirped softly, gazing at the humans with wide, curious eyes, sensing the bravery and kindness that had brought it home. The queen's scales glimmered faintly in the alien sunlight, reflecting the tears she had shed and the joy that now warmed her massive heart. Her voice, usually commanding and firm, trembled as she addressed Lena. You have shown us what it truly means to be courageous, what it means to care beyond your own kind, humanity. Your name will be remembered here and in every corner of the galaxy where hope is needed. Lena smiled, feeling a quiet pride. We do what we can, she said softly. Sometimes it's not about power or strength, it's about heart. That's what makes the difference. Around them, Zeltharite soldiers and citizens observed in silence, awe and admiration shining in their eyes. They had once doubted humanity, viewing them as small and fragile compared to the might of the galaxy's fleets. Now they had witnessed proof of human spirit, of courage, intelligence, and compassion that no weapon could match. Even among the stars, where wars raged and civilizations clashed, humanity had shown that life and hope could prevail. The hatchling chirped again, flapping its tiny wings, and Sarathis laughed softly, a deep, melodic sound that carried warmth across the landing platform. She bent closer to Lena, extending a clawed hand in friendship and gratitude. Your people, your kind, have a heart stronger than any fleet. We will honor this, and your name will live among ours forever. Lena nodded, feeling the weight of history in that simple gesture. Humanity had never sought recognition, yet their actions had carved a place for them among the stars. Every mission, every risk taken, every life saved was a story that would travel across light years, teaching others the meaning of courage, compassion, and honor. As the Odyssey lifted off, breaking through the atmosphere of Zelthar, Lena looked down at the world below. Sarathis and her hatchling stood on the platform, their forms silhouetted against the bright alien sun. The queen's wings twitched in a gesture of farewell, and the hatchling chirped once more, a sound that seemed to carry gratitude and hope across the void of space. In the quiet hum of the ship's engines, Lena thought of humanity's journey. From fragile beginnings on a small blue planet to explorers of distant galaxies, humans had always faced the impossible. But it was not their strength, nor their technology that defined them. It was their courage to act when it mattered most, their willingness to protect life even at great risk. That was humanity's true power. Sarathis would tell stories of this day to her children and to her people, recounting how a human captain had braved the stars to return a lost hatchling to its mother. The tale would inspire generations of Zeltharites, not with fear or awe of human weapons, but with respect for human hearts. The hatchling, safe and thriving, would grow up knowing that kindness and bravery could cross the emptiness of space and create bonds stronger than any fleet. Lena's crew watched the stars stretch ahead, knowing that humanity had proven itself once again. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of mysteries, but courage and compassion could leave a legacy that even the void could not erase. Humanity's story would be told and retold not as conquerors but as guardians of life, carriers of hope, and witnesses to the power of heart over fear. As Zelthar faded behind them, Lena whispered quietly to herself, "This is who we are. This is what we do. Even across the stars we will shine." And somewhere in the distant reaches of the galaxy, the alien queen's tears of joy glimmered like stars themselves, a testament to the courage of humanity and the promise that even the smallest acts of bravery could change the course of civilizations. The legacy of humanity had begun again, one child, one mother, one brave human at a time,